My daughter had a birthday party a couple of months ago, and she brought her friends from her school. We live in a neighborhood that is extraordinarily diverse. And within our community, our neighborhood and the school that she attends, there are a number of undocumented immigrants. And there are a significant number of Muslim families in our community. And as my daughter has befriended them, and my son as well, but as my daughter has befriended them and she brings them over to her house, I see her sense of being loved by God and her sense of knowing Christ increase because she has empathy and sympathy for her friends who are going through a very different set of challenges. I remember when at this birthday party that my daughter had, a parent was dropping off her daughter, a 16-year-old girl. And I was going out to get some pizza for the party, and I caught the eye of the mom. And I saw the look of fear, anxiety, nervousness, because of all the rhetoric that's out there now against Muslim families. And here was a 16-year-old girl whose only offense was wearing a scarf around her head, whose only offense was having a different faith than my daughter's. And her parents were terrified of letting her walk 5 blocks to our house for a 16-year-old's birthday party. And that's not the way the world should be. That's not the way our country should be. And in that moment of catching the eye of my daughter's friend's mom, there was empathy. There was a sense of this is not the way God intended the world to be. I think we need empathy. We need just not the logical, cognitive understanding that this is not right, but to feel the pain of a parent who's nervous about allowing their 16-year-old to walk 5 blocks to a birthday party. It's not the way the world should be. So I think empathy changes us because it doesn't just move in the head, but it moves us in the heart. And I think we have to hear the stories, make the eye contact, befriend those friendships that tells us a different story than the one we're used to hearing from the media, from politics, from the world around us. We have to develop that empathy because these are very real people. These are parents, these are children whose stories I need to hear so that I could have the heart of Christ. I could have the heart of the one whose heart is broken when there is pain and suffering in the world.
Welcome again for these conversations about race. During this week, we are talking about Get to Know Me, please. Some people are waiting for the opportunity to get to know you. Take some time to get to know them too. My name is Gustavo Castañeda. My family and I experienced the call to serve in the church in the United States almost 2 years ago. When we arrived from Colombia, our knowledge of English was almost zero. But we loved the idea of learning the language and knowing more about the country. We knew some things about the U.S. from our studies of history, the news, television series, and Hollywood films. Globalization was another factor. American products are huge in Latin America. We also had Colombians fighting in wars in Korea and Vietnam, helping the U.S. Army. My family and I thought that we knew a lot about the United States, but not when it came to the church. So the first things we did when we arrived was start attending one at a church near our house. We were the only Latin American family, an easy target, but they welcomed us. Still, a few people in the congregation asked, "What are you doing here? There are a few Hispanic churches on the area." They assumed we'd feel more comfortable at a Spanish service. That's when I understood that here in the United States, the vision of many churches is Latinos with Latinos, Asians with Asians, white with whites, black with blacks, and so on. A year later, we are still in that church, and we found another place to worship, but we maintain our friendships from that first church. None of us share all the same values. Even in our own families, values and opinions differ. You can probably think of some of difference in your own family. When we hesitate to embrace people from other cultures and nationalities, often our excuse is that they may not have the same values as us. But what is the foundation of our values? Obviously, we all want to be close to those who share our values, and church can offer that opportunity. But if the foundation of our values is truly biblical, we should be living our diversity and racial reconciliation in our faith. We have been inviting you to make a new friend in this diverse world. And you don't have to travel far to do that. Simply open your eyes and look around you at work, your kids' school and sports events, your gym, your favorite coffee shop or restaurant, the group you are in right now. If you need to prepare yourself for that first interaction, start by praying for the person you would like to get to know better. Pray for that person to be known to you. If you already know of a person, research his or her culture so that you can empathize with the reality. While you are at it, read more about diversity in the USA. Take this one step at a time, baby steps, but always forward. On this trip, you might even need a first aid kit, as some experiences are hard to digest. When Moses was afraid to obey God, he asked Moses, "What is that in your hand?" "A rod," Moses answered, "a shepherd's staff." Moses used his shepherd's staff to both correct and guide people so that they will come closer to God. For us, the question is the same. What is that in our hands? God has given us a vast array of talents, knowledge, and personalities, all to be used to reach others. We are going to make mistakes, but we must remember that we are not alone. We have God with us at all times. He will guide us as we approach our diversity journey with an honest and sincere heart.